Well, a warm welcome, everybody, to Spa-Francorchamps. We are here for qualifying 1, Group A, and it's a pleasure to be here, that's for sure. The historic circuit here at Stavelot. Plenty to look forward to here at the Ardennes Forest, and I tell you what, the championship could not be getting any hotter. How about this, though? Track temperature 30.5 degrees, humidity 41, air pressure 969.0. But yes, going back to the championship, it is Dino Beganovic, sorry, who's currently leading the way. Gabriele Mini only 9 points behind as we head into this qualifying session. And practice, though, it's Mini, though, being fastest in the pre-collective session. It was actually Hadrian David who was quickest of all, actually went fastest in collective session 1 and collective session 2 as well, going near enough 0.3 of a second, almost clear of the drivers behind him. Eduardo Barrichello ended up in second. There's Sebastian Montoya as well lining up for the Prema team, and he'll be looking for a big weekend as well, as will the whole of Team Prema, who are looking to impress. Obviously, Dino Beganovic himself coming off the back of a very, very difficult Hungarian visit, which would end up costing them that podium run that they've been on since the very start of the season. But as you can see here, pictures, it's a very, very busy pit lane. That's for sure here on the Spa 24-hour weekend. Here's Hamda Al-Kwabasi as well, lined up for Prema as well. She'll be heading out onto the track, certainly for their team as well. Plenty of opportunities for many here at Spa, because of course we've got the long straight at Kemmel, not forgetting the round at Blanchimont, where you take the little small kink in the road and then take it down through towards bus stop. Roman Belinsky as well, who was also impressive. Trident hoping as well for a big weekend across their offering. And we'll have to wait and see whether they can deliver on that. Of course, we've got the push-to-pass system in effect this season. So obviously that will provide a lot of opportunity for those drivers looking to potentially unleash overtakes. Of course, it can only be used after lap 1 when we head into racing, of course. Now, this qualifying session, qualifying 1, will be for race 2, which will be the day after tomorrow, of course. We've got more lined up. Tomorrow we'll have qualifying in the morning then for race 1, which will be qualifying 2. And these drivers will be pitting their wits against each other. As we now pan across the pit lane at Tim Tramnitz for Trident. Little wave and a thumbs up there from Tim Tramnitz, the German, looking to obviously try and impress as well. Trident themselves coming here very well stocked indeed as a team. 6th place in the team standings with 86 points to their name. There's No Leon, the Mexican, lining up for Arden. Arden Motorsport just in behind Trident in the team's championship. Albeit, though, 12 points is all they've obtained this season so far. So a good opportunity for them here at Spa to deliver and grow their prospects this season. So we'll have to wait and see whether they can certainly do that. And you certainly wouldn't write them off, that is for sure. Some very, very talented individuals here in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. And we'll be looking forward to seeing who comes out on top in this first edition of practice. Certainly Group A, that'll be sending drivers out. Of course, we can run through the names of who we have here in total. Dino Beganovic, of course, our championship leader. Pietro Armani, who we're currently seeing on our screens, is one of them too. We've also got the likes of Paul Aron, Kaz Havercourt as well, Marie Boyer, Sebastian Montoya, Tim Tramnitz, Roman Belinsky, Lawrence Van Hoopen, as well as Noel Leon, Victor Bernier, Esteban Masson, as well as Eduardo Barrichello, Nicolas Baptiste, Francesco Braschi, Axel Noss, who had a real problem in practice earlier on today, spinning the car and making contact with the barrier at turn 7, and that was around Malmedy. Of course, it was a lot of pressure for G4 to certainly try and get the car back out and about, but we'll have to wait and see how they get on. Pietro Armani, who we did see, of course, representing Monolite Racing here this weekend as well, with Hamda Al-Kwabasi, of course, in the car as we saw earlier on. But it has been a bit of silly season coming into Spa, because, of course, we've had lots of driver changes as well, so plenty to look forward to, certainly with names being moved about across the grid order, and very much keeping those who are following the FRECA Championship awake. Obviously, obviously watching all this unfold, there's been so many movements happening across the board, and it's been quite thrilling to say the least. So we will run through some of those for you as well, because it's quite important to obviously stay up to date with some of these driver changes. Esteban Masson now has moved from FA Racing to ART. Marie Boyer has now taken the MP Motorsport car ahead of ART as well, moved away from ART to MP, as well as Francesco Braschi moving from Kick Motorsport to FA Racing. Owen Tangavellu has now confirmed at RPM Motorsport, or RP Motorsport, with Chen Yuhan leaving the Monolight team and being replaced by Nicola Marinangeli, of course, who was competing in this championship last season. Unfortunately, had that little slip at Monaco where his car ended up upside down heading around Saint-Devote. So very, very tough indeed, certainly around tracks such as that, but no doubt he'll have, or certainly make use of the push-to-pass system that we have this time around. Very, very exciting to see Nicola Marinangeli back with us. Eduardo Barrichello, we can see on our screens, very, very impressive in second practice. Of course, ended up just in behind Hadrian David, only around 2 to 3 tenths. It's been very close right through the weekend in terms of practice, and everyone's been very excited to see how the push-to-pass system pays off in this circuit, because of course you've got the long stretch I alluded to at Kemmel, not forgetting the stretch down through towards bus stop. When you leave Blanchimont at turn 17, you could then unleash it as such and try and move into the heavy braking zone and try and usurp your competitors. So that'll be interesting come race day when we take a look at it. But interestingly enough, just want to raise this as well, rookie winners from last season. Who were they? None other than Dino Beganovic and also Gabriele Mini, both drivers being rookie winners last time out, both of them fighting currently in the higher echelons of the championship. Of course, 9 points, only 9 points merely separates that of Dino Beganovic and Gabriele Mini right now. So it's going to be very thrilling to see who comes out on top, certainly between that particular pairing. But just to give you a little information on this circuit of Spa-Francorchamps, as I said earlier on, very historic here at the Ardennes Forest. A capacity of 70,000 people, opened back in August of 1921 with a distance of 7.004 kilometers. That's 4.352 miles, 20 corners is what awaits every single driver here, and we'll look forward to seeing who can come out on top. But as you can see, the high climb leading through Eau Rouge and Raidillon before they then reach the Kemmel Straight. It's very, very steep at this point. Obviously, when you reach the top, heading up through towards Les Combes, it's quite a climb, the highest elevation point on the circuit. And you can see those drivers there just warming up the tyres aggressively. Of course, the new Pirelli tyres this year, heightened grip levels. They've worked very, very closely with this championship and with the sports governing body as well. And we're going to be taking a look now at Dino Beganovic, of course, one of the main contenders this season, and obviously a treasure to see Prema doing so well. All their drivers have certainly been up at the top end. And there you can see them just trying to move away from each other, trying to give themselves some clean air before they then make their way out onto their hot laps here at Spa. Because, of course, given the fact that we've got quite a lot of cars, despite there being a split group, obviously there's still quite a lot of traffic. So the drivers have to be very methodical with how they position their car before commencing their hot lap. Very important that they can get that clear airspace. And just alluding as well to the push-to-pass, which we will see a big factor in the race as well, certainly here at Spa. And it can generate you another, just to say, near enough 0.8 of a second. As there you can see Paul Aaron making his way through the next chicane. And he'll work his way through Lee Farnier before then working his way down to campus. And there you can see it. Just look at the floods of cars there, folks, as we make their way through towards Sector 3 of this circuit. Sort of a bit of jumbling about, heading on towards Sector 3. And quite a car park right now, but they're just trying to sort themselves out. There you can see them just slipping through, getting into an orderly formation, and they will sprint onwards and upwards. As we're now seeing Lawrence Van Hoopen, who we just saw around in the corner as well, Paul. And looking for some clean air. Also a tow around this circuit of Spa, which can certainly aid you with qualifying laps as well, as we now watch none other than car number that's 18, Dino Beganovic, our championship leader. The man who has certainly wowed everybody this season with his superb form. He has been in relentless form, in fact, since the very start of the season, and has picked up numerous wins over the course of the championship, which has been absolutely superb for Prema. 340 points they've come to here this season, and very well clear of ART as we now watch Beganovic. He's currently setting out on his very first hot lap of this qualifying. He's now going to be making his way up through towards the next rise up through Eau Rouge and Raidillon. And he'll put the hammer down certainly as he makes his way through this point of the track. He'll then have certainly after Raidillon, he will have the Camel Straight. This, of course, will be one of the prime overtaking points on this very circuit. If you can get into the slipstream of your competitor, you can certainly make an overtake at this point. They make their way in towards Les Combes. Purple already for Beganovic at this point, showing some very good pace indeed. As I alluded to before, the Pirelli tyres, much more grip this year. They certainly have been working on that, and it certainly has been effective as they now make their way in towards the next right of Bruxelles. And that Prema car just holding on, just trying to stick into that Bruxelles corner as he now rounds through towards the next left and around Speakers, also known as the certainly the Jackie X corner as of recently, now dipping in towards Pouhon, of course. And this one, you want to try and coast to the inside, trying to avoid the curb on the inside too. Very easy to get tripped up on that raised curbing, which you certainly don't want. And, oh, a lock-up there as well for Beganovic. That was so unfortunate. Of course, that might cost him quite a considerable amount of time. And certainly, given the fact that we've seen how close the deltas are all weekend, one little slip-up can certainly be costly. But Beganovic doing well, the Swede. He's now back on track, just trying to get as much as he can. Just goes to show how much these drivers are willing to push here at this point in this qualifying session, of course. We've only got, in fact, a mere 15 minutes. We've only got 7.5 minutes left in this particular session. So it's all or nothing for a lot of these drivers, and obviously track position is everything when it comes to motorsport. Obviously with Spa, you can get the overtakes in place. Paul Aron is going quicker as well in the second sector. He's found 9.5 seconds himself as they come through towards bus stop. Across the line they do come indeed. Dino Beganovic making his way through. Sebastian Montoya on top. Bernier goes to, oh, there's Beganovic now up into P1. Havercourt is in second as well. Paul Aron goes second fastest. Tim Tramnitz up to fifth. Esteban Masson drops to seventh, with Noel Leon now up into third place as well. Just goes ahead of Havercourt. Eduardo Barrichello, who showed that pace in that second test, second fastest. Roman Belinsky, Trident, watch out for them. Third fastest for Roman Belinsky. Incredible indeed. Good showing at the very start. Obviously, we've still got 6 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in this particular session, but a great start by Dino Beganovic to obviously position his car up at the top. Hadn't quite hit the scale of P1 in our collective tests. Of course, we did see Hadrian David pull that off, but no doubt he'll be delighted with the position that he is in right now. Eduardo Barrichello, of course, on for his one of his best qualifying sessions in a long time if he can keep it where it is. Roman Belinsky himself third place too. Paul Aron in fourth, so not a bad start either. And this man, of course, Montoya, will be looking to improve as well. Leading the Rookies Championship right now, and also the most rookie wins in the season. 5 wins for Sebastian Montoya. The Colombian certainly has become very adept with certainly the cars here at Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. And he'll be looking to try and nestle in yet another rookie winning performance this weekend. A little bit slidey heading through that chicane at Les Farniers. He'll then take the trip down through towards campus, and he'll be looking to make those modest improvements. Currently 2/10 off, currently in Sector 1, but still showing improvements in his own time as he now comes through the next right. And he'll then make his way down towards the middle, well, latter stages of the middle sector. He'll then venture in towards Sector 3 as they make their way down towards bus stop and around this very quick left-hander at Blanchimont, of course, which could certainly open up the doors for overtakes, that's for sure. And down through towards bus stop goes Sebastian Montoya. Paul Aron finding time in Sector 2 as well, and he's actually finding a lot of time, to say the least, as he now makes his way in towards bus stop. Now, this could be a huge opportunity here for Paul Aron. Can he usurp that of his teammate Dino Beganovic? Let's watch him cross the line now, very, very surely. 4th fastest as of now as he crosses the line. Is it going to be more? It certainly is. P1 there for Paul Aron. 2:15.786 puts him at the very, very top. And just in behind, Dino Beganovic holding on to that second spot. Tim Tramnitz has moved up to 3rd fastest. Marie Boyer now up into 6th as well. Eduardo Barrichello dropped down to 4th, so he's going to have to look to find something else if he wants to try and reclaim that front row position. or certainly front row in the context of this particular qualifying. It would be P1 that he's looking for, as we now watch the cars make their way up through Eau Rouge and Raidillon. And just see them on their slow runs. They'll look to obviously make sure that the tyres aren't too overheated. Easy to be done, that's for sure. And maybe this will be a similar scene that we get in the race, only at full speed. It'd be great to see some overtakes certainly up at Kemmel. We've seen it so many times in the past, and given the fact that the push-to-pass system is proactive now, 15 seconds, don't forget, folks, that's how much of it they have got. 5 times it can be used in a race. And there is Sebastian, certainly Juan Pablo Montoya there in the pit lane, supporting his son, no less. And Montoya giving a good account of himself. Top 10 at the moment, 10th place, because we've still got 3.5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. And through Les Combes, Malmedy as well. Paul Aron still holding on to top with Beganovic in 2nd place. Tramnitz currently sat in 3rd as well. And this is a great showing certainly from him, as we're now watching currently the leading rookie Tim Tramnitz make his way down through towards the next straight. It's been impressive certainly all season long. 3 wins this season for the Trident car, and you'll be looking to improve on that as well. Certainly Tim Tramnitz has wowed many, and Trident, who have also got Roman Belinsky at their disposal, will be looking to certainly try and gain here at Spa. Leonardo Fonoroli is another one to watch out for. He has certainly been very, very impressive as well, the Italian. And we'll have to see how Trident keep a special eye on them, that's for sure. As we're now watching the cars now, get the tyres vigorously warmed up. Car number 70, that is Tim Tramnitz, who we're currently watching on our screens, heading through Les Farniers and then down through towards Campus. And we get a little look as well at car number 12, which is Victor Bernier, the Frenchman, making his way through. And there is Tim Tramnitz as they now make their way in towards the latter sector. Just over 2 minutes to go here in this qualifying session for Group A, and it's still Paul Aron on top as things stand. Beganovic still in 2nd, and just nearly 2 tenths away as well. So it was a great lap from Paul Aron to hold on and take that P1 spot away from his teammate. Tim Tramnitz in 3rd, as we alluded to previously. Eduardo Barrichello, as I said before, very much in the frame for one of his most impressive qualifying sessions this season. Of course, I'd imagine he'll want to go higher than 4th. All these drivers want to win. They all want that top spot. As we watch them round bus stop, a few of them darting into the pit lane. Some staying out, though. Most of them staying out, in fact, as they go out for one more run. And the last lap here in this Group A session, obviously with a minute and a half to go. Very long circuit here at Spa, longest on the calendar, that's for sure. Just over 2 minutes, and it'll be one of the only tracks, the only track in fact, where we could see the push to pass being used twice in a single lap, as we see Paul Aron make his way up through towards Eau Rouge and Raidillon, and he'll jettison up this point of the circuit. See him there making his way through the next left. It's so steep at that point, but no qualms there for Paul Aron. We did see, of course, his purple run earlier on, which led him towards P1. In fact, Beganovic now in 2nd, of course, due to that. I'm sure there'll be some friendly team rivalry going on as now Aron makes his way through, losing a little bit of time off his best. That is just over half a tenth, sorry, behind that of his personal best, as he now works his way through Malmedy. He'll then have Brachel's corner next. This next low dipper, he's got to cling to the curb on the right-hand side. As he now works his way through it, you can just see how tight he was to that curb heading through Speaker's corner now, or Jackie Ick's corner, and he'll then hammer down onto the throttle, leading down towards Pouon. Plenty of other cars around him as well. So imperative to get that clean air so you can give yourself a huge chance to perform here at Spa. I know that many of the drivers were very excited to be facing this gargantuan test, given the fact that the track itself is steeped in so much history, not to mention the size, the sheer size of it, and the laps of racing, or certainly the length of racing that you'll have at this circuit over a single lap. As now watching Paul Aron head through this next right. That's the confirmation, folks. The checkered flag is out at this point, so that's the end of this Group A of qualifying, but they still got these laps to complete. Paul Aron has just gone purple in the second sector. Now the big question is, can he bring it all back in the third sector? He needs a mighty big third sector to then nestle in an improvement on his original pole time lap. Heads through towards Blanchimont now. What can Paul Aron do to nestle something good here? The Estonian driving for Prema heads down in towards bus stop now. Dino Boganovic also trying to improve, and he's found certainly some headway in the second sector himself. Esteban Masson 15th place currently as the cars now cross the line. Can Aron find any more than what he's already got? No, it's a slower lap, but still enough to hold on to his P1 spot. As you can see, the checkered flag being waved. Marie Boyer now up to 5th fastest as well, just ahead of Roman Belinsky. And certainly this looks like the grid as we will see it heading into that race 2. Or half the grid, certainly, as we head into race 2. Paul Aron on top spot. A very good performance from the Estonian. Dino Boganovic in 2nd place. Tim Tramnitz in 3rd, with Eduardo Barrichello in 4th, Marie Boyer and Roman Belinsky in behind him, Sebastian Montoya in 7th, Kaz Havercourt in 8th for Van Amersfoort. You would have probably wanted more than that, Kaz Havercourt. No Leon in 9th as well, with Lawrence Van Hoopen in 10th, Esteban Masson in 11th as well, with Hamder Al-Kwabasi in 12th. Francesco Braschi in there in 13th place, with Armani in 14th, Victor Bernier in 15th place, with Nicolas Baptiste in 16th. Unfortunately for Axel Noss, after that incident in the second test, he wasn't able to get the car out on track for qualifying. Here are the results, folks. Paul Aron is the man on pole. He nestles in at 2:15.786, goes clear by nearly 0.2 of a second to his teammate Dino Boganovic. Tim Tramnitz in 3rd, with Eduardo Barrichello in 4th, Marie Boyer in 5th, Roman Belinsky in 6th place, with Sebastian Montoya 7th fastest, Kaz Havercourt 8th fastest, with Noel Leon 9th, Lawrence Van Hoopen in 10th, with Esteban Masson in 11th, Hamder Al-Kwabasi in 12th, Francesco Braschi there in 13th place, with Pietro Armani in 14th, Victor Bernier, last of the cars, in 15th place, with Nicolas Baptiste lying in 16th. Just behind him, Axel Noss, as I alluded to before, did not start this session due to the incident in the collective test 2. Next up, we will be having the Group B, and we will be bringing you highlights of that initial session as well, folks. I mean, what a way to get things started for Team Prema. Paul Aron obviously on top, Boganovic in 2nd fastest. Obviously, Prema would be absolutely thrilled with that push in quali. Puts them certainly in very, very good stead. And there you can see how much it means to the drivers to be here at Spa. They make their way in towards Les Combes. We just saw the hustle and bustle as they sorted themselves out, looking for that clean air, as they now work their way through the next left of Jackie Hicks. It was a wonderful display, certainly from Paul Aron. Dino Boganovic not quite able, despite being unable to hold on to P1, finishing in P2. Paul Aron was the man to do it after that second sector. There's the lockup from Boganovic. That cost him, I would say, a considerable amount of time, as we can now see certainly more of them make their way through. Tim Tramnitz, of course, was working his way up as well. Only managed to secure, though, on this occasion, 3rd fastest. But there we have it, folks. Paul Aron, fastest of all. Well, here we are, folks. We have Group B qualifying for qualifying 1 here at Spa-Francorchamps. And what a pleasure it is, as I said before, in Group A's qualifying to be here at Spa. Obviously, we just witnessed Paul Aron topping the timing sheets in Group A. Now it's Group B's turn. Płato Wisnicki here for Kick Motorsport. And he'll be looking to certainly bring up some better performances here, this time at Spa. And huge, as I said before in our earlier session, huge opportunity for every single one of these drivers at this point to obviously get on top and get ahead. We'll have to wait and see if they can certainly deliver at this point. Of course, it'll be the turn now of the likes of Hadrian David, who we witnessed in the collective test, to see whether he can secure P1 after that wonderful effort across the weekend so far. Speaking to him earlier on in the paddock, he seems very confident indeed before the collective test 2. He felt that he was in a good place. The team certainly seemed in a good place, and they certainly did marshal up that confidence into a P1 display in Test 2 as well as Test 1. So let's see if they could deliver here in qualifying. That is the big question. So we'll keep our eyes peeled, certainly, on that. There's Paul Aron, who's currently in the pit lane. All the cars now making their way in from Group A into the pit lane. And now it'll be the turn of Group B to head out onto the track. Puerto Wisnicki, who we saw earlier on, being part of that group as well. We've got the likes of Gabriele Mini in this session too, because of course he's fighting for the championship against Dino Beganovic as well. He'll be looking to continue his wonderful stretch of form as we now watch the celebrations happen. Certainly Prema on top with both cars, with Paul Aron and Dino Beganovic holding on to Ps 1 and 2 in Group A. So they're going to be absolutely delighted with that performance. Of course, now, as we alluded to, is the championship contender Gabriele Mini for ART, who will be now taken to the circuit. Hadrian David as well, also a race winner this season for RSGP. And he'll be heading out as well, as I said before, fastest in the test earlier on today. Gabriele Bortoletto also out there for RSGP. Leonardo Fonoroli for Trident. Lorenzo Fluxer for RSGP out and about too. Joshua Dufek for Van Amersfoort, also part of this contingent. Joshua Dirksen for Arden. Matteo Capieto for Monolite. Sami Megatune for MP Motorsport. Owen Tangavellu for RPM, with Pietro Deli Guanti also for RPM. Santiago Ramos also for Kick. Levente Revez also for VAR as well. Delano Van Hoff for MP Motorsport. Matthias Zagazeta for G4. Puerto Wisnicki for Kick, with Nicola Marinangeli making his first start this season in Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine after competing last year. Of course, has competed elsewhere this season, but is now back here in this championship, fighting it out here at Spa-Francorchamps. So we'll certainly look forward to seeing how he gets on as we head into Group B qualifying. And so just a quick reminder, folks, this is the qualifying for Race 2. So keep your eyes peeled on this one. We will have Race 1 qualifying tomorrow, be in the morning, nice bright and early at 9:05 here on Belgian time. So do not miss it. It's going to be stupendous, to say the least. Certainly, we saw lots of exciting moments in our previous one. Of course, the fighting between the two Prema cars, Dino Beganovic second, and of course his teammate Paul Aron, the Estonian, nestling that P1 spot. And we'll now see Group B, see what they can do heading into the start of this session. The cars now rounding the bus stop chicane, and they'll make their way around across the line. Now you can see them all in tandem, working their way through. And there's car 72, Leonardo Fonoroli, just warming up his tyres, heading down through towards La Source. And we did say before to keep an eye on Trident. Of course, they have been very, very good, very adept around this circuit. And I'm sure they'll be looking to impress here in qualifying, as we're now watching the cars around now. And there's Gabriele Mini, the man fighting for the title, and 9 points away from Dino Beganovic after a successful string. Second places is what he's racked up over the last few races, but back here again, though, here at Spa, and he'll look to go further than that, you have to say, and he'll want a challenge. He's looking forward to this track, though. Caught up with him earlier on too, and he's buzzing at the prospects of racing here at Spa, as we're also seeing on our live screens Joshua Dirksen make his way through as well around this next right out of La Source. But there's Gabriele Mini, who's now out and about, heading up through towards Eau Rouge and Radion. And very technical part of the track, very easy to make a mistake here at this point of the circuit. You have to be very, very careful where you position your car as well, as he now streaks up through towards the Kemmel Straight, where the incline takes you all the way to the top, the highest point on the circuit, and then up through towards Les Combes. Of course, these Tata chassis, very, very obviously built for pace, obviously finding new grip with the new Pirelli tyres as well. And the wonderful thing about these single-seaters is how much they really do stick to this track. As Gabriele Mini now deeps dive now in towards Brachel's corner. You want to get nice and close to it as well to maximise and optimise his pace heading through this point as well. He's then got the Jackie X corner round the next left. And ART will be hoping for a big weekend themselves. They need to try and close the gap between them and Prema. Prema 340 points, ART 237. So just over 103 points is what separates the Prema and ART teams. with RSGP, third place, 228 to their name as well. Very, very close to ART in terms of points. And then there's a gap then to Van Amersfoort in fourth on 142. So big weekend for teams and the drivers this weekend alike. To be fair, the top five, there's such a huge championship fight going on. Not just Dino Beganovic and Gabriele Mini. You've got Dino Beganovic on 180 points, Gabriele Mini 171, Paul Aron 152, Hadrian David 129, and Kaz Havercourt 122 as well to his name. So quite a bunch there as we now watch the cars make the climb. There's got Gabriele Bortoleto out on track as well. Matteo Capietto is currently on top. Bortoleto, we're currently waiting to see what time he can deliver for us as we're now watching him make his way up through the Kemmel Straight, leading up towards Les Combes. Just over 9 minutes left here in this session. And Capietto currently nestling in the fastest lap so far. Just a banker at this stage, 2:16.865. We did see 2:15 in our previous session. Adrian David was purple for a moment. He's found improvements. Bortoleto also finding the improvement of just under a tenth of a second in that first sector. As he now comes through this next right at Brachel's corner. He's then got the left-hander of Jackie X, very, very treacherous as well. You don't want to run too far over the curbs and nestle yourself in that gravel trap. He now makes his way down through towards Pouon. There is Hadrian David, of course, the man who is certainly one of the championship contenders, to say the least, driving for RSGP, who were very, very competitive last season. Just looking to find some modest improvements this time around, but you'd certainly expect them to do just that. Gabriele Bortoleto now making his way in through Les Farniers and powers out through down towards Campus Corner, and very soon Stavolo as well. And he'll look to try and put a hole in Matteo Capietto's lap time at this moment. He has gone purple in the second sector as well, finding some really good time, in fact. Has nestled in an improvement of just under 7.5 tenths of a second. So very good showing for Bortoleto, a more representative lap time as opposed to the previous one that he would have set. Of course, the cars do have to sort themselves out, make sure they have that clean air so they can maximize their performance. As now he comes through towards bus stop chicane now. Bortoleto, no doubt looking to try and nestle himself on top at this point. Hadrian David, he currently sat in fourth as well. He'll be no doubt looking to make those improvements as Bortoleto comes towards the line. You'd expect this to go fastest. Does he go fastest? He does go fastest. Bortoleto finding 8 tenths improvement in that third sector. Hadrian David, though, immediately steals that at this stage as well. Lorenzo Fluxer there as well in fourth. Owen Tangavellu moves third fastest. Deli Guante is now down into seventh. Leonardo Fonoroli has just gone fourth fastest as well. So plenty of cars now nestling in some appropriate lap times. Gabriele Mini will be looking to nestle one in as well as he heads through towards Blanchimont. He's found some improvements in his own time as well. He'll be looking to usurp that of Adrian David. It's very, very slim margins currently between the pair. As now we're seeing Gabriele Mini come through bus stop now. He's going to put everything into this as he heads through the final corner. What's it going to be for Gabriele Mini? Is it enough for the top spot? Comes across the line. Fifth fastest. That's all he can muster right now. Didn't quite find the time he would have needed. Lost quite a lot of time, in fact, in that final sector, which isn't ideal at all. Still an improvement, though, based on his first run, but he'll be looking to go again and certainly find something else out of his car. Do not write him off, folks. He's second in the championship, only 9 points behind that of Dino Beganovic. So that is certainly going to be a thrilling encounter here at this very circuit. Just over 6 minutes still to go, and it's getting down to certainly squeaky bum time at this point for all drivers concerned. Need to try and nestle in and get the car up to their optimal temperature, optimal potential, optimal pace, as now he can make his way through towards Les Combes. And still currently, as I said before, fifth fastest Gabriele Mini. He's got Fonoroli, Tangavellu, Bortoleto ahead. Oh, just a little wince of the rear there as we now watch the cameras pan across to other cars on the circuit. So we're now watching Owen Tangavellu make his way down through towards the next strike. Currently third fastest, Owen Tangavellu, now part of RPM Motorsport. Certainly has delivered certainly a wonderful season so far. I think he's enjoying the Formula Regional European Championship, as many are. And certainly with the push to pass, it has enabled a lot of drivers to really start getting competitive, making crucial overtakes at the more crucial moments. As now Tangavellu comes down towards bus stop. And he'll be looking to improve on that current third fastest claim. He's lost a little bit of time, though, in the first two sectors. Runs wide there as well, slightly wide, heading down towards the straight. Will it be enough? Not quite. He remains in third place. And Bortoletto still in third. Leonardo Fonoroli, though, second. Tangavellu now down to fourth, as we're seeing more and more cars make their way through. Oh, there's a car off in the gravel trap. That is Tangavellu, I believe, making his way. And we did say he went wide coming out of bus stop, and unfortunately running wide at the crucial point on the exit of La Source. That's not going to help at all, as we're now watching Deliguante make their way through as well. Gabriele Mini coming down towards the straight as he found a crucial third sector. Not quite. Again, losing a little bit of time in sector 3. Not to mention a little bit in sector 2 as well. Not quite enough for Gabriele Mini to find that top spot. But give him a chance. We've still got 4 minutes to go, folks. Plenty of time, certainly when it comes to these cars. We're going to get a replay. Oh, skipping over the curbs. Lost the rear slightly. And rubbing into the gravel trap, Owen Tangavellu. And he's going to need to recover from that one. Never ideal, certainly at this stage. And what's that going to do to the tyres, you've got to ask yourself, especially at this crucial moment in qualifying. He's going to have to make sure they are up to temperature and ready to go again. You don't want to run the risk of flat spotting them or causing further issues, because that will affect your deficits. And certainly when we get down to the crunch time at this point in qualifying, when the track is at its hot, when you want to be marshalling in your best times. We've just seen Josh Dufek go 6th fastest as well. And so he's found a little bit of time too. Hadrian David currently on top spot, following on from his wonderful performances in the collective test 1 and collective test 2. He's looking to go P1 again, this time in qualifying. Never a better time to do it as well, as he now makes his way through the next straight. Has found time in sector 1 as well, just under a 1/10 of a second. But the crucial point is this sector 2, as he has in fact lost quite a considerable amount of time. But he's still on top. And he's got a gap of just over 1.5 of a second. So he's doing okay. Leonardo Fonoroli in second for Team Trident. And showing well as well in second place. Clear by 0.5 of Gabriele Bortoletto, who's in third. He's now watching Hadrian David make his way down through towards the chicane. Here we have now Bortoletto himself coming up towards the line. Lost a little bit of time in that middle sector. He was green in the first. He was green in the third, but not quite enough to usurp that of Hadrian David. He remains in second place, Gabriele Bortoletto. And there is, as we watch the cars make their way down through towards the source, Fonoroli, just saw a puff of smoke there heading through in towards the source there. Just goes to show how temperamental you've got to try and keep the cars on the track. Very, very tough circuit here at Spa. Obviously very technical as well as high speed sections. You've got the heavy braking zones leading in towards bus stop. And not to mention the very progressive chicanes such as Les Farniers and the double rights at Campus and at Stavolo as well. And the fast-paced Blanchimont left-hander. Just under 2 minutes left now, as we watch the cars make their way through the final echelons of qualifying. Leonardo Fonoroli, who we're currently watching on our screens, he is sat in third place right now, just in behind that of Gabriele Bortoletto. Owen Tangavellu has just gone purple in the first sector, so he's finding some really good, modest improvements himself as well. Be interesting to see what he can marshal in the second sector. Obviously, remember, he was the one who went off out of La Source earlier on as well, so let's see what he can do. He's managed to do a 39.584 in that first sector. Hadrian David just slightly shy off his personal best, just 0.073. And we have heard that, in fact, Hadrian David went very wide at Speaker's Corner. Oh, there we go. And he's just done it again, this time heading around that right-hander, just catching himself off guard, just dipping the rear on the right-hand side and on the front as well, just into the gravel trap. And that's not what you want to be doing at the last moments of qualifying. We've still got 45 seconds still to go, so a huge opportunity now for other cars around him. He might have a chance at one more lap if he's lucky, should the timer just tick down after he crosses the start-finish line. We'll have to wait and see, as we're watching all the cars now make their way through. This, of course, will be interesting, folks. Every single car out and about trying to land improvements on their lap times. Owen Tangavellu, as I said before, was purple in that first sector. He's certainly trying to find improvements in sector 3. He has found improvements in that third sector. Let's see where he lands himself. Obviously, currently fourth fastest as he crosses the line. Tangavellu, where's it going to put him? As he will cross the start-finish line. Third fastest does go ahead of Fonoroli as well, who actually went purple in his third sector. So some really good showings from others across the grid as well. Hadrian David, the checkered flag now has been raised. Hadrian David still on top, is yet to be usurped. Still holding a 2:15.844, just mere millimeters away is Gabriele Bortoleto, 2:15.897, just in behind the gap, just at half a tenth. Just over half a tenth, in fact. Gabriele Mini also out and about looking to try and improve. Currently 5th fastest as well, and he's going to try and rein that right back in. Just over 4/10 of a second away from Hadrian David. And we know about Hadrian David being 2/10 of a second fastest of all. The gap between P2 and him was landed at 2/10. So we know how good Hadrian David is at Spa, but can Gabriele Mini do something to usurp that of Hadrian David as he makes his way out of Les Farniers in towards Campus, and he'll then head through towards Stavolo as well, this next right-hander. And huge opportunity, certainly for Gabriele Mini. Oh, he's lost time though, slightly. But in fact, I see slightly, just under 5.5 of a second, which is incredible, really. A lot of cars struggling with that second sector, dipping into the gravel as well. We saw Hadrian David do exactly that, and that's what cost him also the time on the lap prior as well, where he dramatically lost the pace when he was looking up on it in his first sector. Just goes to show you need to hook your entire lap up in order to be successful here. So now we watch Gabriele Mini make his way around, no doubt to finish his run here in Group B qualifying. 5th fastest is where he sits at this moment in time. As they cross the checkered flag, still Hadrian David on top, Bortoleto in second, Owen Tangavellu in third, Leonardo Fonoroli in fourth. Gabriele Mini only good enough for 5th fastest right now, with Josh Dufek in 6th, Fluxer in 7th, with Ramos in 8th, Capietto in 9th, Deli Guante in 10th, Sami Megatunif in 11th place, Joshua Dirksen currently sat in 12th, Revez in 13th. Megatunif has just gone 7th fastest as well, so he's made an improvement as he's crossed the line. Still more to cross the line. Nicola Marinangeli yet to do so. Hadrian David has backed out of his lap. He's had an invalidation there as well. Nicola Marinangeli's finished 14th fastest. So that is it, folks. That is the end of qualifying. Hadrian David is your P1 sitter here in Group B. And Gabriele Bortoleto, 2nd fastest. Owen Tangavellu, a great performance despite the trip into the gravel trap on the outset of La Source. Leonardo Fonoroli in 4th as well. Gabriele Mini, 5th fastest. Wasn't quite able to hook it up in that final run, but he will start from his position currently on that 5th point of the grid. So we're now awaiting the results. Here we go, folks. Hadrian David is your P1 sitter. Gabriele Bortoleto in 2nd. Owen Tangavellu in 3rd. Leonardo Fonoroli in 4th. Gabriele Mini in 5th. Joshua Dufek in 6th. Sami Megatunif in 7th. Lorenzo Fluxer in 8th. Santiago Ramos in P9. Matteo Capietto in 10th. P11 for Pietro Deli Guanti, as well as Joshua Dirksen in 12th. Levente Revez in 13th, with Nicola Marinangeli in 14th. Matthias Zagazeta in 15th, with Delano Van Hoff in 16th fastest, with Prator Viznicki sitting in 17th place. Of course, these will be the grids, folks, or certainly the cars qualifying in this session will be for race 2 coming up later on in the weekend on Saturday. So do keep your eyes peeled for that. We will have qualifying again tomorrow. And we will have highlights now, folks. And there we have it. Certainly getting underway here in Group B. The cars viciously warming themselves up, ready for the prospects of this session. It would be, of course, Hadrian David out on top, but here we have a look at the RMP car. Of course, Owen Tangavellu taking a trip into the gravel trap. It didn't hurt his spirits, though. He came back fighting, managed to obviously secure that P3 spot. We've also got the car number 85 belonging to that of Bortoleto, who made his way around the source. And there we have Hadrian David, who certainly followed up from his vibrant form earlier on, took a trip into the gravel trap, but it did not stop him to secure that top spot at that point. But what a performance from Hadrian David all weekend. And we would like to thank you for...